Now in this video, I'll give you a head-to-head comparison between the Realme 5 Pro and also the Vivo S1 to help you make that purchase decision, so keep watching. Hey, what's up guys, Adam Lobo here and you're watching Adam Lobo TV. If you guys are new, hello and welcome. Do consider subscribing to my channel as I release videos at least twice a week. And if you're returning as a subscriber, welcome back guys, and let the battle begin. Now in terms of hardware, both phones have surely stepped away from looking like a typical mid-range phone, as both had a great looking design where both had a plastic back, where both finishes look more like glass. Then the camera bump on the Realme 5 Pro is slightly bigger compared to the Vivo S1, so it will wobble just slightly when the phone is placed down flat compared to the Vivo S1. And also you'll find a physical fingerprint sensor at the back of the Realme 5 Pro compared to the in-display fingerprint sensor on the Vivo S1. Now I kinda like the side matte finish of the Realme 5 Pro compared to the glossy ones on the S1. Then both phones has a headphone jack, which is nice to know, and the only difference is that the Vivo S1 has a Google Assistant button on the left, which was a nice touch.
Your phone has no SIM card installed, so I can't help you with that at the moment.
Okay. Now looking at the phone screen, the Realme 5 Pro comes with a 6.3-inch IPS LCD screen, where the Vivo S1 comes with a slightly bigger 6.38 inches, but it comes with a Super AMOLED screen, so I would give a slight edge towards the Vivo S1 for the higher quality screen. But when you put the phone side to side, there's not much of a difference, as both comes with the same resolution of 1080 by 2340 pixels. Watching videos on both phones were great, but I've noticed that when watching videos on Netflix, where you'll see a small bar on the Vivo S1 even when I pinch to zoom to full screen, as that was not the case on the Realme 5 Pro, so yes, the Realme 5 Pro has a better integration with Netflix. But when it comes to watching videos on YouTube, both phones cover the screen up to their dewdrop notches. Now as for the phone's camera, the Realme 5 Pro comes at a 48 megapixel f1.8 aperture, and 8 megapixel f2.2, 13mm ultra wide angle lens, a 2 megapixel f2.4 dedicated macro lens, and also a 2 megapixel 2.4 depth sensor, where the Vivo S1 comes at a 16 megapixel f1.8 aperture and 8 megapixel f2.2, 13mm ultra wide angle lens, and a 2 megapixel f2.4 depth sensor. So yes, there's 4 cameras for the Realme 5 Pro and 3 on the Vivo S1. Now looking at the picture quality, for the sake of this comparison, I just took the regular photos instead of using the 48 megapixel mode. Now pictures on the Vivo S1 was just a bit more saturated than the Realme 5 Pro, so this would be based on a personal preference. Now the same could also be said on the ultra wide angle lens for the color profiles as well, where both had the same 13mm focal length. Now speaking of focal length, I love the versatility that the Realme 5 Pro gives, as you can zoom up to 5 times in the camera app, where the Vivo S1 only gave you the option between the regular shots and only the ultra wide angle shots. Now as for portrait mode, Realme again comes on top with a faster focus and better dynamic range on the blurred background, and the color accuracy is also better for the blurred out area, like this picture of the chair, which looks redder in real life. Then looking at the night shots, there's no dedicated night mode on the Vivo S1, but there is the nightscape mode on the Realme 5 Pro. And yes, you can also use the other lenses just like the regular photo mode. So yes, overall, as you guys can see, that the Realme 5 Pro gives you better nighttime shots. Now as for the front camera, the Vivo S1 comes with a huge 32 megapixel f2.0 aperture, and the Realme 5 Pro comes with a 16 megapixel f2.0 aperture instead. Now you may think that the images on the front-facing camera for the Vivo S1 would be better than the Realme 5 Pro due to its higher megapixel count, but as you guys can see, it was not the case, as I felt that the images on the Vivo S1 tends to be over-sharpened even when the beauty mode was turned off, and it can be also overexposed at times too, especially on the areas of my white t-shirt, where the pictures on the Realme 5 Pro look way more natural, where you have more flexibility in pose, especially with the portrait bokeh shots for both of the phones. Now as for video, the Realme 5 Pro gives you an option to record up to UHD 2160 up to 30 frames per second, where the Vivo S1 only records up to 1080p up to 30 frames per second. Now when it comes to image stabilization, the 1080p footage on the Realme looked amazing compared to the Vivo S1 footage was not as stable as the Realme 5 Pro. And I have to say once again, I prefer the overall natural look which comes out on the Realme 5 Pro as well. Then as for the front camera, both phones record up to 1080p up to 30 frames per second, where the image stabilization was better on the Realme 5 Pro, as you guys can see. So yes, this phone will be perfect for vlogs or Instagram stories. And speaking of vlog, let's now check out the audio recording capabilities for both phones. Alright, this is the video stabilization for the front facing camera and of course the audio test for the Realme 5 Pro. Switching over to the Vivo S1, this is the video stabilization and also the audio test for vlogging situation for this phone. So, which one do you like? Now speaking of audio, both phones has a mono firing speaker down below, and based on my test, the Realme 5 Pro again was better in terms of the clarity of the sound produced through the speaker down below. And here's a quick sound test. Now as for the phone's battery, the Realme 5 Pro comes with a 4035 mAh of battery with the USB-C, finally, VOOC 3.0 flash charging at 20 watts, where the Vivo S1 comes with a bigger 4500 mAh of battery but still stuck with micro USB port and a lower 18 watts fast charging instead. But due to its larger battery size, the Vivo S1 gave me a massive 8 hours and 5 minutes of screen on time compared to the 4 hours and 47 minutes on the Realme 5 Pro. So yes, size does matter in this case. Now as for the phone's software, I am still a bigger fan of stock Android, but the Android skins of both phones were fine, where it was surely something which you will need to get used to. I wouldn't say which is better, as this again is based on a personal preference on choosing Realme's Color OS 6 or Vivo's FunTouch OS 9, where there were no issues that I faced when using both phones as my daily driver. Now in terms of gaming, both phones comes with different processors, but honestly I did not find any significant difference in terms of the gaming experience when I played games on both phones. But if you are playing PUBG on the Vivo S1, it will be based on medium settings instead of high settings on the Realme 5 Pro. But I did find that the Vivo S1 did become a bit warmer on the longer gameplay, but other than that, playing games on both phones was totally fine. And last but not least, let's look at the price and value. Now the basic variant of the Vivo S1 is priced at 1099 ringgit for the 6 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of storage, and the Realme 5 Pro is also priced at 1099 ringgit, but it comes with a higher 8 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of storage. So in terms of value, the Realme 5 Pro edges this one again. Alright guys, with all this comparison, do let me know which phones would you guys choose, the Realme 5 Pro or the Vivo S1. Give me your vote at the comment section below. Now if you guys want to have a detailed spec list of the comparison between both of the phones, I will link it down below. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found this video helpful in making your purchase decision. And if you did, be sure to give this video a nice big thumbs up. Like, share and subscribe to Adam Lobo TV if you haven't done so. Don't forget to hit the bell icon just next to it to get notified for my future videos. Thank you so much for watching. This is Adam Lobo and I'll catch you guys in my next video.